Thank you all for being here this evening. As she mentioned, Pastor Diane mentioned, my name is King Kevin Dorival. I'm a mentor and author and inspirational speaker. New here to Georgia. Actually, this week makes it my 93rd day being here.
Wow, that's a long time, buddy.
It's been a blessing. It's been nothing but accelerated progress, growth, success. I've been meeting so many beautiful people, such as Pastor Diane here, and it is an honor to be here to give honor to Dr. Queen Jacqueline King. So give her a round of applause. Now, I'm here today to talk about my second book, which is called 7 Types of Queens, King's Desire. My first book is called The Courage to Believe, which is an inspirational autobiography about how God helped me overcome adversity in life. So I use my story as a platform to encourage our youth so that they can move forward and not be stuck in the traps that many people, such as myself, come from. I come from a single parent home. My mother, may she rest in peace, Queen Rosette Pierre. She died in 2008, so this year makes it the 10th year, the anniversary of her passing. But she was a great woman. She lived a great life. So a lot of her community work that she did, it really, she passed it on to me. So that's why I do so much community work that I do now. I also have a nonprofit called Courage to Believe International, where we teach the youth how to play chess so they can strategize and avoid the pitfalls that people such as myself fell into back when I was younger. So, and as a matter of fact, I'm speaking at the church on Sunday, this Sunday in Lithonia, so you can go to my website, get more information. Now, 7 Types of Queens, King's Desire. Now, I wrote this book out of a heartbreak, actually. And so, as I was writing the book, you know, a young woman broke my heart many years ago. You don't have to cry, but
You stop.
but I learned a whole lot.
We
from
learn
it.
valuable lessons,
Right.
don't we?
It's progress from that pain, due to the fact that as I was writing the book, it didn't have a title at the time. I was already working on a dating book at the time, but as time progressed, God placed in my spirit what direction to go with this one. And so the title came to me in a dream. Now, me being a king, being the son of the Most High God, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, I wanted to use my pain to give other people a relief from their relationships, because a lot of us get broken in our relationships and we just go from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, without really healing ourselves. And I noticed as I was writing the book that many of our women, especially the young ones, are lost, especially to social media, the TV, newspapers, magazines, and they target our black women and degrade them as well, being as just sex objects or something to be used for entertainment or just a lot of drama. And so a lot of our youth are emulating that behavior. As you can see, you can go on Instagram right now, and you know, you never know what's going to pop up. And so it's a very dangerous time that we're in. And so I realized that God wanted me to use this book to try to turn things around, to build better relationships, and to help our women understand what type of woman they should achieve to be. And so what it is a compare and contrast of ancient queens with women of today. Going way back from times of Kemet with Queen Aset, Queen Nzinga, and also modern day with people like Michelle Obama, who actually wrote me a letter last year. I wrote her in 2016 that I was featuring her in my book. And so before she got to the White House, I knew I had to contact her, because once she get out, I was not going to be able to reach her. But you know, being the First Lady, I knew exactly where she was going to be. And so I'm very honored to have been able to have someone like that acknowledge my work. And so she thanked me for that, and I was able to travel in London. Now let me get going with what we're here for today. Now, I want you all to turn to page 166 in 7 Types of Queens, King's Desire. But you guys don't have the book, do you? Well, I have a table filled with that outside. Right?
Good plug, good plug.
I'm going to use that, brother.
What you say.
It's done. Done, Doc.
Yes.
It's all good. It's all good. Now, chapter 9 is called Serving Queen. Now, I chose Serving Queen because Dr. Jacqueline Queen Dr. Jacqueline King, she's a servant. You know, she's been serving the community for quite some time with the Black Women Empowerment of Atlanta. So I acknowledge that, I respect that. We need a lot more organizations such as yours, not just for the women, but for the men as well. Now,
You got it.
Amen. A wife of noble character who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Proverbs 31, verse 10. When you are serving your king, you are serving God. The same goes for when your man is serving you as his queen. The female to male relationship is a union before God that represents the balance of spirit, mind, and body. It is important for women to understand this concept, as you are the creators of the home where balance is perfected. The art of serving doesn't stop with your mate, but it also is important to serve your community. In the book of Genesis, the Bible talks about how Abraham sent his most trusted servant to find a good wife for his son. Abraham's wife, Sarah, had passed away, and he gave specific instructions. Can you all say specific instructions?
Specific instructions.
Perfect. To prohibit his son from marrying any Canaanite women. The family's bloodline was at stake. Perhaps the ways of the Canaanite women disgusted him, such as what or whom they worshiped, or how they carried themselves or treated their guests. Abraham revered his deceased wife and wanted a woman of virtuous characteristics for his son, Isaac. The lineage was on the line. If only parents today would give this more thought when they give their child's hand in marriage. Allowing the wrong person or spirit into the family could sabotage the family's legacy.
That's good.
Most parents with a kingdom mindset would take extra measures to ensure the longevity of the family's assets and work rigorously to match their child with a wealthy and healthy consort.
That's right.
Sarah was a woman of great faith and a Proverbs 31 type of queen, a very rare breed. Can you all agree?
Yes.
Amen. This type of woman is honored by the community. Her children and husband sing praises. She makes profitable business deals for herself and on her husband's behalf. And she can pick out land to cultivate it for crops.
Yes.
She helps the poor and prepares meals for her family in the mornings and evenings. Now, obviously, she's not lazy. This is a very active and successful wife. She helps the poor and prepares meals for her family in the mornings and evenings. Her mouth is filled with wisdom, blessings, and not curses. Old school folks will tell you that women of this caliber are becoming extinct. But thanks to Black women empowerment, this is not the case. A woman with a heart to serve is powerful.
Yes.
One of the most unattractive attributes in a female is to be conceited and the unwillingness to serve her guests and her community. Refusing to cater to those under your care. Refusing to cater to those under your care shows you don't have what it takes to be with a leader or to be a leader.
Wow.
A great leader understands how to treat everyone as royalty.
That's right.
Someone who has served others understands the balance of power and shows empathy towards other servants. A king will want a woman who can cater to him, his children, and his guests. An average man may not care about his woman being a great hostess, but it matters to a well-off Boaz type of man.
Amen.
Every man wants to feel like a king beside his queen. I'm not talking about bowing down or washing his feet with your hair or compromising your core values to please his ego. What I'm referring to is exhibiting class and letting go any degenerate family traditions and creating your own traditions together under God.
That's good.
One of the greatest compliments a man can receive from his friends and family about his woman is her excellence in hospitality. I guess you can say it's a pride thing. A good woman who can cook and serve her man who loves, let me repeat that again. A good woman who can cook and serve her man with love makes her man feel very powerful. There's nothing wrong with a man being proud, to have you as his queen or vice versa. In fact, that is a sign of an excellent relationship. You want to have a man who feels like he can rule the world with you by his side. Now notice I didn't say behind him, but beside. Correct. Now I know some women will read this and say, I don't have time for that. Any of you women who say that? You don't have time for that?
Keep reading.
Keep reading? Okay. I suggest you start making time because families are being torn apart. The greatest relationships are those that serve and uplift each other. My mother was raised in Haiti and spent the later part of her life in Florida. She loved to serve cold drinks in fancy glasses on top of a saucer to her children and all of her guests, young or old, male or female, it didn't matter. I felt special when she brought me an ice cold beverage in the living room every time. Now that I'm a grown man, I can't remember anyone ever serving me anything on a saucer. When people were in my mother's home, she wanted them to know they were in a house of class and a blessed place. This was Haitian hospitality at its finest, the Caribbean islands. When a woman consistently shows her ability to lovingly serve her king, then that man knows she has the potential of being a great mother if he is wise, and also a great wife, which is what I'm looking for, by the way. Her children will stand.
He put it out there. He put it out there. How old are you? Where you work?
He threw another plug out there.
I gotta do it.
We'll be interviewing in the next room.
Her children will stand to bless her, and her husband will praise her. Men are visual creatures, so you will have to show us that you are a Proverbs 31:10 type of woman. And that is all I have for you all this evening regarding this book. And this, as I mentioned, my intentions when I wrote this book was one direction, but it was just amazing how God led me a completely different direction, because I didn't really understand how broken our women were and how broken our men were. And so I wrote this book in hopes of building stronger relationships and also increasing happy marriages. And so what I did was I interviewed several happily married men. Keyword, happily married men. Right now, I'm working on the follow-up to this book, which will be called, now is you have a bunch of women in the front, but the follow-up will be 7 types of kings that queens desire. So I'm actually working on that right now. So I hope to be finished sometime later this year. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram at 7 Queens, 7 Kings, or at Courage to Believe. My website is www.kevindorival.com, and I'm not too hard to find. Many blessings, and thank you all.
Yeah.